Well, good day, everyone. Thanks again for checking in with us here at Weather Nation. Meteorologist Marcus Walter here with meteorologist Carissa Kloss, and we're starting out with what's happening in the Northwest. Yeah. And we're talking about the weather across the country, including what's happening this morning for places like Orange Beach, Alabama, and Rome, Georgia. These areas have been dealing with fog, but it's starting to clear just a bit. We're going to zoom into Harvey right now. Max winds at 40 miles per hour. Gusts have reached up to 50 miles per hour, and it's moving to the west at just under 20 miles per hour.
And one spot that could be impacted by that, Aruba.
Well, good day, everyone. Now we're taking a look at the devastating fire video that's coming out of Southern California. This is all around Los Angeles, Ventura County. Again, these fires moving very quickly, making for very ominous commutes. Well, you see this video out of New York City, taken on Thursday, driving on Grand Central Parkway. Wow. Very snowy on parts of Long Island heading into New York City and out of New York City. And even before that, we're talking about windy conditions across this region where we can have wind gusts as high as 60 miles per hour. And on top of that, we have some high wind warnings across parts of Montana. But let's get into the radar right now. Our Viper, just to show you what's happening with the weather. We'll zoom in toward the east just to point out that we definitely have showers and some storms moving through at this hour. We'll zoom in a little closer just to point out if you're in New York City or if you're just east of Philadelphia and New Jersey or even across upstate New York, you're dealing with some showers and some storms that are swinging through. And as we look across Missouri into Kansas, into Iowa, Nebraska, we are under a marginal threat for severe weather, so some intense storms are possible across this part of the country. Well, you see this video out of New York City, taken on Thursday, driving on Grand Central Parkway. Wow. Very snowy on parts of Long Island heading into New York City and out of New York City. It was a very snowy scene, led to dangerous conditions. And in Boston, a few hours to the north, they not only dealt with snow, but they dealt with water being pushed in by strong winds. Take a look at that. Cars covered in water, slushy streets, just a total mess. Just, again, very tough for a lot of people who live in those areas, but fortunately, the worst of at least the winter weather, the snow falling, the wind starting to wrap up, but we're still left with a few snow showers out there. So we're taking a look at what's happening on the radar, and we still see that over the last couple of hours, northern parts of Maine, they were getting snow, and now we're noticing a few pockets of snow across parts of Vermont and also across southern parts of Maine. But outside of that, because of snow that's still on the ground, because of winds that are still out there, well, we have winter weather advisories in place across Maine, across parts of New York and the Northeast, and even into parts of the Carolinas. Raleigh, for instance, you're still dealing with those winter weather concerns that continue with us through tomorrow morning because of the cold conditions, but also because of some of the snow that is on the ground. And when we talk about road conditions, we have snowy roads anywhere from parts of Georgia through South Carolina and definitely across the Northeast and back into the Midwest. So snow, a big part of a lot of people's travel plans today. And as we focus in on what happened with this storm, a lot of areas picked up more than a foot of snow. We had winds in excess of 70 miles per hour. And on top of that, even with the snow moving out, we're still dealing with cold and wind. But let's talk about some of those snow reports. Plymouth, Mass picking up 22 inches of snow. Caribou picking up more than 16 inches of snow. Very snowy. Other places in New York picking up anywhere from 16 to potentially 17 inches of snow. And when we focus in on the wind through Friday morning, through this morning, we had wind gusts as high as 76 miles per hour, or at least winds peaking during the duration of this storm. So again, the winds were a big factor. And while it won't be as windy across the region, we're still talking about the winds combining with the cold to bring us a chill. And these wind chills are pretty brutal. Boston 5 below at this hour, Chicago 12 below, and Minneapolis 20 below. And because of that, well, we still have wind chill advisories that are in place not only through today, not only through Saturday, but even into Sunday for parts of the Northeast. So Jeremy, again, very cold out there, and we're still talking about windy and cold conditions into the weekend.
Can you just hear John Van Pelt's voice in your head going, now you got to stay safe out there when it gets this cold. Yes. You're going to get frostbite in just a matter of minutes. It's all I can hear. But it's true.
Yeah, no, it's a reality. I mean, anytime you're outside in these elements, it can be very dangerous. So please, if you can, just be safe.